Hello, students. Welcome to the second part of week 2, Site 1010, General Psychology. In this part, we will talk about the chapter 4 of your book with the title of States of Consciousness. What is consciousness? What's awareness? What's awakening? Differences between sleep and consciousness, about dream, and about the altered states of consciousness. So let's begin with the PowerPoints of your book. You can see here the states of consciousness. Let me check it. And at first, we want to talk about the definition of consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is some type of awareness at a given moment. Awareness about every experience in your life at that given moment. For example, awareness of your thoughts, awareness of your feelings, awareness of your body, awareness of your sensory sensations. With your sensory receptors, also not about the awareness of receptors, but about your sensations being experienced at a given moment. It's a very basic, simple definition of consciousness. And the major part of consciousness historically begins with the study of sleep. At the first time, the study of sleep was not a scientific based matter for studying. It was about the matters of religion, philosophy, thinking. But for the last 1 century, after entering to the technological advancements of talking and studying sleep, entering to the MRI and other parts of assessment of sleep. Now we know that we have 4 stages of sleep. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. The stage 1, the state of transition between wakefulness and sleep, characterized by relatively rapid, low amplitude brain waves. We have 4 types of brain waves: delta, theta, alpha, and beta. The acronym is DTAP. Delta, D for delta, T for theta, A for alpha, and B for beta. Okay? At first, we see the state of transition between wakefulness, it's not that so deep, and sleep. Sometimes in this stage, you will experience some types of hallucination, especially visual hallucination and auditory hallucination. This part of sleep is called hypnagogic hallucination, which is normal, which is healthy. Also, you have some types of experience that people with schizophrenia, people with severe mental illnesses, also they have some experiences like that you experience after entering the deep parts of your sleep, but it is healthy, it is normal. It is called hypnagogic hallucinations. And at the end of the time of your sleep, when you want to awake near the morning, also sometimes, not always, you have types of hallucination in auditory and visual. Some people say, yes, I have a sleep of falling down, for example, from a mountain and something like it. It is hypnopompic hallucinations, which are normal. In a stage 2, sleep deeper than the stage of 1, characterized by slower, more regular wave pattern. We have a wave pattern for this part of sleep, stage 2, along with momentary interruption of sleep spindles. With some, we can find it, for example, in EEG, electroencephalography, and other tools we use for assessment about the sleep. In a stage 3, characterized by slow brain waves, we are going to the deep part of your brain activity. So it is slow brain waves with greater peaks and valleys in the wave pattern than in the stage 2. It is peaks and valleys, but slow waves. About the frequency is slow wave. And in stage 4, we have the deepest stage of the sleep, which is rapid eye movement, during which we are least responsible to outside stimulus. This is very deep. We are at the deepest stage of our sleep. You can see the changes in the brain waves here, awake, after that stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, all are non-REM, rapid eye movement, and stage 4 is rapid eye movement. Sleep become deeper, brain waves take on a slower wave pattern, you see here. And we see here also the rapid is slower, speed is slower, but we have some spike and values, the spike and values. Brainwave patterns measured by EEG approaches vary significantly during the different stages of sleep. As the sleep moves from stage 1 through stage 4, brain waves become slower and your level of consciousness will be deeper, will be more sleepy. Reduce the reaction to the external stimulus, as you see here. But the final part, as you see, it is rapid eye movement. If you are in a sleep in stage 4, and I look at your face, I look at your eyes, I can see the rapid movement of your eyes when you are in stage 4. So it is very specific stage of sleep. And many scientists, many professional working on sleep work with this chapter and this stage of sleep. Why? Because many information and many information processes occurred here in this part. In rapid eye movement or REM or REM sleep, for the stage of sleep, about 20% of sleep time. Increased heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing, and erections in males, especially near the morning, and rapid back and forth eye movement, something like it. You can see that my eyes are moving back and forth when my eyes are closed. Major muscles appear to be paralyzed, and most dreams occur in REM or REM. Experience not necessarily remembered by everyone. Experiencing dream and remembering dream during REM stage is something different. All people, all healthy people with normal sleep patterns experience dream in not in REM stage, stage 4, REM, rapid eye movement. All people, all normal people, healthy people, not with severe sleep disorders. But many people say that I cannot remember my dreams, my sleep dreams. Why? It is something different. Remembering the dreams is related to the time that you wake up from your sleep. If you wake up after REM for the new stage 1, again, in the new sleep pattern, yes, you cannot remember your dreams. But it doesn't mean that you didn't have any dream in your sleep pattern. It means that, yes, I have some types of dream, but I cannot remember because when I wake up, I was not in the dream stage of my life. So please note that, please pay attention, please be cautious about the interpretation, not about the content of your sleep, about the form of your sleep, about the experience of your sleep. All people who don't have any severe sleep problem experience dreaming in REM stage, stage 4. But many people say, yes, I cannot remember. It is normal. It is not pathological. So you can see here again, from the first part of the night until the near morning. During the night, the typical sleeper passes through all four stages of sleep and several REM periods. You can see here it is REM sleep, REM sleep, REM sleep. And you see that when from the hours slept, we go to the end of our sleep time, the duration of REM sleep will be greater, greater, and greater and longer. So in the example for at the end of the, it is about 90 minutes, between 90 minutes to 100 minutes, one sleep pattern from stage one to stage four. And after that, again, another pattern from stage one to stage four. You see, when the time slips is longer and longer near morning, the duration of REM sleep will be longer and longer. Because of that, near morning, you can find some clear dreaming in your sleep. It doesn't mean that you don't have any dreaming in the previous sleep patterns. Every sleep pattern has a time for REM, has a time for stage four. But the duration of time will be longer and longer and longer after each time sleep pattern. For example, in the pattern 2, a little longer than pattern 1. In pattern 3 is a little longer than pattern 2. And pattern 4 and pattern 5, it is between 7 hours to 9 hours for normal people to have a sleep, to have night sleep. So it's a great question. Why we and also some animals near us, especially homos like chimpanzees, like gorilla, like monkeys, like baboons, why we sleep? What is the function of sleep? Also, there are several theories about the functions of sleep in the mammals. Sleep is required for normal functioning and ultimately for survival. But how much? No set amount is required for everyone. Set amount, proposed amount, preferred even for all human beings. Most people sleep between 7 to 8 hours per night, but there is much variability between 6 to 9 hours. You see here, also most people report sleeping between 8 and 9 hours per night. The amount varies a great deal. It is the percentage of people near between 40 to 50% of people say that yes, we should sleep about 9 hours per night. Only about less than 5% say yes, we need only 4 hours per night. And at the same time, at the same rate, about the 11 hours per night, you see, okay, near 5%. So the major percentages are about 7 hours, 8 hours, and 9 hours per night. So you can see about 15% of people should have a sleep about 7 hours, and near 35% need to sleep about 8 hours per night. And as we said, about 45% need to have a sleep about 9 hours per night. In the theory about the dreams, why we need dream, we have three major theory. At first, and also it is the first methodological correct interpretation for the content of dream and for the need to dream is by Freud psychoanalytical aspects of sleep. It is unconscious wish fulfillment theory, and second one, another theory is dreams for survival theory, and the third one is activation synthesis theory. The basic explanation of unconscious wish fulfillment theory by Freud says dreams represent unconscious wishes the dreamer wants to fulfill. It is about your complexes, about your frustration, about the wishes that you cannot fulfill them in your real life. So you bring that complexes, that hopelessness, that helplessness, and that frustration, depression sometimes, to your dream and have a sense of fulfillment. So Freud says about the function of dreams that dreams represent unconscious wishes the dreamer want to fulfill. So meaning of dreams in this theory is latent content reveals unconscious wishes. We will talk about the latent content and the other content. As is meaning of dream disguised? Yes, by manifest content of dream. It is the basic theory about the dream without any biological or physiological or medical imaging evidence for approving or also for rejecting, like other theories of Freud, that sometimes we cannot find unconsciousness, but we can use the meaning of consciousness, the concept of consciousness in interpreting, and also for predicting of the future behaviors in all human beings. So there is no evidence about the Freud theory, biological evidence and physiological evidence. But it is good for interpreting the dreams, and also it is good for predicting the future behaviors, future thoughts, and future emotions. The second theory, as you can see in the picture, the title is Dreams for Survival Theory. When you hear the word survival, the first approach, the first meaning that should be considered, should be associated in your mind is evolution. The goal of evolution is survival. So, in all aspects of psychology, in all aspects of sociology, in all aspects of leadership management, when you hear the word coping, survival, and evolution, these are very near together, especially for survival, the meaning of survival. So the basic explanation of dreams for survival theory is information relevant to daily survival is reconsidered and reprocessed for daily survival, reconsidered and reprocessed. So it is called dreams for survival. And meaning of dreams in this theory is clues to everyday concerns about survival. What you were worried about in your daily life. What were your concerns, especially survival based concerns, very basic concerns, very basic issues, very basic worries, that if you cannot solve them or you cannot confront with those concerns, those issues, your survival can be at the risk of damage. Okay, because of that you will bring some issues, you will bring some concerns, you will bring some worrying about your survival to your dream for re-experience, represent, and reprocessing. And after that you will find or have some background to find the good and efficient answers and efficient solution for your problems and your issues. So is meaning of dream disguised? Not necessarily in this part. And activation synthesis theory, other theory, and the final theory about the functions and meanings of dreams is the basic explanation of this theory is dreams are the result of random activation of various memories. Let's say chaotic experience in your mind, in your brain, which are tied together in a logical storyline. So it says, yes, it's the activation of many memories, chaotic memories, not related memories. You have some experience that in a dream you are experiencing that the memories which are not at all related together in the real world, but your mind, your brain, put them in a storyline so associated. Sometimes also, I don't want to use the word logical, but associated, harmonized, without any mathematical or very logic behind this association, this relationship with different aspects of your life. So, dreams scenario that is constructed is related to dreamer's concerns. Again, we are talking about concerns, but you can find a story here. You can find a scenario here. In the previous theory, in the dream for survival theory, we can find that yes, it's good for your survival. In this part, in this theory, in the third theory, we cannot find about survival, but we can find about a storyline, about a scenario for solving or finding, solving, or creating a context for creating or finding new solving new solutions for the old and daily, sometimes daily problems. And not necessarily there is the meaning of dream discussed. Okay. So uh, in a theory of Freud, it says that unconscious wish fulfillment theory, dreams represent unconscious wishes of the dreamer. We have a content of dreams, it is latent content of dreams. What is latent content of dreams? According to Freud, the disguised meaning of dreams hidden by more obvious subjects. It's the hidden parts of your dream. It's not hidden part, it is the hidden meaning of your dream. It is latent content of dream. It is the secondary meaning of your dreams, not the primary. The primary meaning is the meaning that you are experiencing. It is something like abstract thinking. In abstract thinking, I say to my, for example, son, a proverb, and ask about the question before 12 years. I ask him, for example, him about the meaning of a proverb. And he says me very concrete, very objective meaning, without any subjective, without any uh, formal, and sometimes without any deep and symbolic meaning about the proverb. When you can use the symbols for creating the meaning, it is called abstract thinking. Okay? In latent content of dreams, we are looking for the abstract meaning of the dreams. We are looking for the subjective meaning of the dreams, not objective, not about the main real component that you are experiencing during your dream process, during your dream experience, especially at the stage 4, which is the main stage. REM stage is the main stage for experiencing dreams. And manifest content of dreams, according to Freud, the apparent storyline of dreams. It is very, very basic part of dreams that you can find. And the theory of dreams for survival, the theory suggests that dreams permit information that is critical for our daily survival to be reconsidered and reprocessed. And activation also says, Husband theory, that brain produces random electrical energy during REM sleep or REM sleep that stimulates memories stored in the brain. In activation synthesis theory, we are entering a little, very cautiously, very, very cautiously, entering the realms of biology, realms of MRI, realms of medicine. But in previous two theories, the Freud theory and the dream for survival theory, it is based on the analysis of dream, not about the biology of dreams. Okay, sleep disorders and sleep problems covers a great area of problems. Sometimes we have a very specific categorization for sleep disorders, sleep dysfunction, that you can see some of them here. But the sleep problems, not the sleep disorders, sleep problems, you can find the sleep problems in a wide range of the symptoms of the signs of other mental problems, mental disorders. For example, depression. One of the greatest problems in depression, one of the most important symptoms for diagnosing a person with MDD, major depressive disorder, is sleep problems. Also, it is not called sleep disorders, yes, but it is called sleep problems, or in anxiety, or in eating disorder, or in substance use disorder, or in sexual disorders. Even in some types of personality disorder or PDs, we can find some problems in sleep patterns, sometimes in content of the sleep pattern, for example, in substance abuse, sometimes in the form of experience of sleep, sometimes in dreams, sometimes in the duration of time or the quality of sleep and other things. But we have some major sleep disturbances that you can find here. One of them, very regular, is insomnia. You cannot sleep so good during the night. It could be due to a particular situation, such as the breakup of a relationship, divorce, or separation, and other things. Your sleep will be interrupted. So it's called insomnia. Also, a very good movie with this title is Insomnia. I think the total title of the movie is Insomnia in New York, something like this, but it is called insomnia. Concern about the test score. For example, you want to know the grading of your score. That I will say you that I will announce it. I will register your scores for tomorrow morning. The previous night, you have some problems about the score, and you have some problems when sleep, or the loss of a job. Some cases of insomnia, however, have no obvious cause. Note that insomnia is a problem that afflicts as many as one third of all people. So, if you don't experience insomnia, you are so lucky, because one third of all people all around the world experience insomnia, interruption, or unable to go to sleep. It's very popular. Other disorders are really disorders. At first, sleep apnea, some problem in breathing, in automatic breathing during their sleep time, condition in which a person has difficulty breathing while sleeping. The result is disturbed, fitful sleep, as the as the person is constantly reawakened when the lack of oxygen becomes greater enough to trigger a waking response. Because of the problem of oxygen, oxygen is very important for your survival even during your sleep time. Because of some deficiencies in your oxygen level, in your blood oxygen level, you should awake and regulate your oxygen level with deep breathing, and sometimes again go to sleep. In many cases, people with sleep apnea, when you wake up totally at the end with the beginning of the morning, and the partner and other people say, how bad was your sleep last night? They cannot remember anything. They know that, yes, I'm not fresh. I don't feel good about the quality of my sleep. I'm tired. It is not the function of good sleep. If you have a good quality and good amount of sleep, after ending your sleep, it is a time of awakening. You are so fresh with a sense of vitality and happiness and full of energy to start a new life. Okay, if you wake up and you think that, oh, I'm sorry, but I'm tired again. If it is possible, go to sleep again. It is talking about your quality of sleep and your quantity of your sleep to us. Sleep apnea is one of the major problems which severely reduces the quality of sleep. And night terrors is not so common, but sudden awakening from non-REM, not in a REM, stage one, stage two, stage three. These are the non-REM sleep that are accompanied by extreme fear, panic, and a strong physiological arousal. It is something like terror. It is nightly terror. And narcolepsy, very, very, very dangerous, but very rare sleep problem. Uncontrollable sleeping that occurs for short periods while the person is awake, no matter what the activity he or she is doing. Sometimes you can find and watch the documentary movies, documentary videos about narcolepsy. Someone is lecturing, is presenting some lectures in front of many people, and narcoleptic, he is narcoleptic. Sudden, during I think 5 seconds, he will go to deep sleep. Watch the videos, documentary videos about narcolepsy and also night terrors in YouTube. And holding a heated conversation, exercising or driving, a narcoleptic will suddenly fall asleep. People with narcolepsy go directly, without any stage one, stage two, stage three, directly from awakening to REM stage, stage four. At the same time, they start to experience dreaming, skipping the other stages. And also sleepwalking and sleep talking. And people say that, yes, I have sometimes see people with the sleep talking. What about the sleepwalking? Sleep talking is very regular, very frequent in people, but the sleepwalking is not so regular, so current in people, so popular. Yes, but it is rare. That's the problem. Two sleep disturbances that are usually harmless both occur during a stage 4 sleep and are more common in children than in adults. Especially sleepwalking is very current in children. You see that, for example, your 5-year-old age son wake up and go, for example, to refrigerator and going back again to bedroom. The sleep talkers and sleepwalkers usually have a vague consciousness. They are conscious, but very vague consciousness, unclear consciousness. Sometimes it is called cloudy consciousness. It's something like you are walking throughout a cloud, throughout a foggy situation of the world around them. And a sleepwalker may be able to walk with agility around obstructions in a crowded room. Also, you can find the videos in YouTube, especially about sleepwalking. Sleepwalking is very regular. Okay, the next chapter, the next title about consciousness and change. Sleep is off. The next part, the next title about consciousness is about circadian rhythms or biological rhythms. Also, we have two concepts, biological rhythms and circadian rhythms. All circadian rhythms are biological rhythms, but it is not true about other types of biological rhythms. The only 24-hour rhythm of biological rhythm is called circadian rhythm, which is the name of the professor or scientist who discovered this pattern of consciousness. Biological processes that occur regularly on approximately a 24-hour cycle from the Latin circadium, around the day. Also, the name of the scientist is, so I don't remember the exact name, what it was, circan, something like it. Okay, you can see the circadian here from 1 a.m. to 11 p.m. Pregnant women are most likely to go into labor in 1 a.m. Immune cells called helper T lymphocytes are at their peak, T cells. 2 a.m. levels of growth hormones are highest. Because of that, we say to adolescents, that the night sleep is very important for your growth. Why? Because the growth hormones are at the peak at 2 a.m. At 4 a.m., asthma attacks are most likely to occur in people with asthma problems, asthmatic problems. 6 a.m., onset of menstruation is most likely in women. Insulin levels in bloodstream are lowest. People with diabetes should have some intervention near the 6 to 7 a.m. Blood pressure and heart rate begin to rise because you want to wake up. Levels of the stress hormone cortisol increase. You are going to the standby situation. And melatonin levels begin to fall because melatonin is necessary for sleep. 7, its hay fever symptoms are worst. And 8, risk for heart attack and stroke is highest 8 a.m. for heart attack and stroke, brain attack. Symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis are worst early morning. You say, uh, I have some problems in my joints also, something like rheumatoid arthritis. And helper T lymphocyte cells or T cells are at the lowest daytime level. It is T cells is for your sleep time. At the beginning of a sleep, it goes up, and at the end of the sleep, it goes down. And near noon, 12, level of hemoglobin in the blood is at its peak, 3 p.m., grip strength, respiratory rate, and reflex sensitivity are the highest 3 p.m. Because of that, we say between 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. is the best time for onset of your physical activity, for example, regular practices also if you can, and you have free time. 4 p.m. body temperature, pulse rate, and blood pressure peak. This is the best time for to be at the highest level of consciousness. At first, it is between 10 a.m. to 12, and after that, between 4 to 7 or 4 to 6. Urinary flow is highest in 6 p.m. At 9 p.m., pain threshold is the lowest near the night. And 11 p.m., allergic responses are most likely. You see daytimes, night times, regular body changes over 24-hour period. Over the course of the day, our circadian rhythms produce a wide variety of effects. So we have some orders to create a better sleep, night sleep. This is called sleep hygiene. You can find some orders in this part. You should know 7 million people, 70 million people in the United States have the problem of sleep. 70 million people, near 1/5 of general population of the United States. From each one, 20%. 70 million people in the United States have problem to starting a sleep and going through a good quality sleep. At first, exercise during the day, at least 6 hours before bedtime, and avoid naps in the afternoon, and especially not near the sleep. If, for example, 3 hours before your sleep time, you go to exercise, it is not so good because your body is so fresh and the body fresh doesn't want to go to sleep. 6 to 7 hours before sleep time is perfect time for have a good aerobic exercise. Choose a regular bedtime and stick to it. You can train your brain to go to sleep as a regular time. Avoid drinks with caffeine after lunch. So hard also for me. Drink a glass of warm milk at bedtime. Perfect. Avoid sleeping pills. No. Sleeping pills is not, especially that are the over-the-counter OTCs that you can go to pharmacy and buy it. It is not good for your sleep hygiene. And try not to sleep during the day. Two major concerns, two major issues, two major techniques, which are not so new, some very traditional. We have some traditional roots for these techniques are hypnosis and meditation. What is hypnosis? Also, we can talk about hypnotherapy and stage hypnosis. But at first, what is hypnosis? Hypno, as you know, in Latin word, hypno is mean sleep. And at the first stages of creating hypnosis as a science, scientists and practitioners thought that it is something like hypno plus sleep. It is a sleep-like stage, but now we know that it's a brain state, not a state, not a sleep-like state. But traditionally, we use the same word, same phrase as hypnosis. A trance-like state of heightened susceptibility to the suggestions of others. It is a trance-like, trance with C, not with S. A trance-like state of heightened susceptibility to the suggestion of others. So your suggestibility will be heightened and heightened and heightened. People don't lose all will of their own. It is a false belief, correct misunderstanding about the hypnosis that yes, when you are under hypnosis, you will lose over your will to do something. It's a false belief. You are aware. Only your suggestibility have become increased. That's it. People cannot be hypnotized against their will. Perfect. We are talking about the misunderstanding and false belief about the hypnosis that you see that yes, I can I can have some hypnotize you without your will, without your consciousness, without your awakening. It's true. It's not true. More easily hypnotized, if high ability to concentrate and become absorbed in what you are doing. So for obsessive people, for ADHD people, for mental retarded people, creating hypnosis stage is not so easy because there is no concentration on my vocabulary to create hypnosis or trance-like state in your mind, in your brain. But one of the hottest market about the different stages, different parts, different altered states of consciousness in these days, especially in America, especially in California, is meditation. Meditation, a learned, at first the learned technique, acquired technique, a learned technique for refocusing attention that brings about an altered state of consciousness. In all psychological, academic psychological, and psychiatric books, you can find in a chapter, there's a chapter so-called altered states of consciousness. Many states you can find there. One of the greatest and basic altered states of consciousness, you can use meditation to reach that state of consciousness. Repetition of a mantra to guide your focus. Mantra is about the voice, repeatable the voice. And the basic and most famous, and as meditator says, the most applicable mantra is the mantra Om. It's something like it. It's a mantra. The repeatable voices you can use to go to the specific state of your brain, state of your mind for beginning and maintaining and continuing your meditation practice. And repeatable, also we have some repeatable pictures and some mystic pictures. It's called Tantra. So mantra and Tantra. Oxygen usage decreases, heart rate and blood pressure decline, brainwave pattern change, means of bringing about deep relaxation and practice in many cultures. Not only about, for example, Southern America, about the Northern Europe, about the Middle East, about the African parts, or about the European. No, many cultures in different shapes has some serious orders, maybe sometimes religious orders, for example, praying in Islam, has some types of meditation, some movement that as a yogi doesn't know that what they are doing. They say to Muslim people that, are you doing sometimes some yoga and meditation? Because the daily praying is something like movement, for example, in yoga. And it's very helpful. And other parts in Jewish, other parts in Christianity. You can, other parts basically in Buddhism and Hinduism, and also in the Chinese traditions, you can find several orders for doing meditation, for creating a new state of mind, state of brain. Okay, perfect. The last part that we want to talk about the consciousness, not about the sleep, about the consciousness, is related to the substances. also substance use and substance abuse, and in different four major parts: stimulants, depressants, narcotics, and hallucinogens. You can see here the percentage of people, teenagers who have used various substances for non-medical purposes at least once, from very easy and very not harmless, but very lower grade, lower levels of harming, something like steroids and ecstasy, to the highest effective like alcohol or marijuana or cigarettes or amphetamine. Also, ecstasy is not in the lower uh, grade of harming, in the lower grade of using. You can see that near 50%, half of the teenagers have used and experienced at least one time, once alcohol, and also after that it is about marijuana and cigarettes. After that, for amphetamine, tranquilizer, hallucinogens, cocaine, ecstasy, and steroids is little and little and little. We have two parts of drugs: psychoactive drugs and addictive drugs. Psychoactive drugs influence a person's emotions, perception, and behavior. Everything that you can use, and after using, it has some effect on your thinking, on your feeling, on your action. It is called psychoactive. Are all psychoactive drugs addictive? No. Or are all addictive drugs or psychoactive? Yes. Addictive drugs produce a biological or psychological dependence. Honestly, in the modern books, especially after the entering to 21st century, we don't use as professional, we don't use the word addiction. We use the word dependence or dependency. Withdrawal leads to craving that for some may be nearly irresistible. The major problem to deal with withdrawal, to deal with quit smoking, quit using alcohol, or quit other addictive drugs or substances is about two problems. One, withdrawal syndrome. Two, craving management. I worked with addicted people 5 years as a psychiatric nurse in my country. And I think craving management is more important and harder than dealing and management of withdrawal syndrome. For example, in marijuana, you cannot find any physiological withdrawal syndrome. In opium, you have many hard. In alcohol, you have many hard physiological and body-based withdrawal syndrome. But in marijuana, there is no withdrawal syndrome physiological. But mentally, wow, I think the highest rate in very mm, lower rate, very lower level of addictive drugs is about marijuana, and after that about cigarettes. In high level, for example, cocaine, yes. In cigarette, in smoking, you can find both of them. Higher craving for repeat again start smoking cigarettes, and some physiological, for example, a little overweight and something like it, and increasing appetite. So we have two parts: psychological and physiological. Physiological is about your withdrawal syndrome. Psychological is not always about withdrawal syndrome. Sometimes, for example, in the book says the craving time, the craving time after full remission. Full remission is means that you didn't do anything about that substance for at least 1 year. After 1 year, before 1 year, it is called partial remission. After 1 year, it is called full remission. For a full remission period, after full remission, starting and entering the full remission period for cigarettes, for smoking, the craving time is 15 years. After 15 years of quitting smoking, when you quit your smoking, After 1 year, you enter the full remission. Okay, there is no withdrawal syndrome. There is no, for example, problem with not smoking. But until 15 years, you have the craving, at least for checking and doing only one time. And all the smokers say to you that, for example, after 18 months, they started that say, yes, I have quitted smoking. It's only for fun, only one time after 18 months. Many people say you after between 1 to 2 years, you say, yes, I have quitted smoking and it's only for my fun. Start again. And they open their eyes to see that, wow, I'm a heavy smoker again here. I am a smoker, not only heavy smoker or simple smoker. I am smoker. So craving is about 15 years, for example, for smoking cigarette. In physiological dependence, the body becomes so accustomed to functioning in the presence of a drug that it cannot function without it. Because of that, it is called withdrawal syndrome. The syndrome that shows that your body cannot function, cannot have a good function, a proper function, a healthy function in the absence of the drug, in the absence of the substance, especially those substances that have a very high impact on your mind, like cocaine, like acid, LSD. These are a high impact, and in the short term, high positive impact on your mind. But in the long term, destroy your brain, destroy your tissue of your brain. Because of that, we can find some withdrawal syndrome, physiological and psychological. In psychological dependence, it is not about your body. People believe that they need the drug to respond to the stresses of daily living. One of the greatest stimuli to relapse, to go back to the state of using drug and abusing drug is such a good drug it is. I can deal with my stresses with drug, with using substances. So stress for people, if you cultivate stress in your children, in your family members, using substance is a very good, unhealthy, and long-term inefficient response to your stress. So if you have a stress, yes, at the basic like marijuana, cocaine, even alcohol and other addictive, it is not important about the legal or illegal. To be legal is something else. It is about the legislation, about your society. But health is something, for example, fast food is legal, but it is not healthy. Alcohol is legal, but it's not healthy. To be healthy is something different of to be normal. Normal is legal, very popular. Okay? Because of that, if you want to reduce the risk of going to use the substances, drugs in the future, at first you should avoid to experience stress, especially long-term stresses. Although we generally associate with drugs such as heroin, everyday source of drugs such as caffeine, found in coffee, and nicotine, found in cigarettes, have addictive aspects as well. I don't want to enter the discussion about addiction that we have sport addiction, we have work addiction, work it is workaholism, or sport addiction, reading addiction. We have some types of apparently positive addiction, positive dependency. Yes, but it is dependency. When you are workaholist, if you don't work one day, you will be aggressive. If you have some types of a sport addiction, if you don't have any exercise, only one day, you will be aggressive. You will experience some with withdrawal syndrome, sometimes aggression, sometimes depression, sometimes anxiety, also about other apparently and socially acceptable addictions or dependency. Okay, this is the last part. You can see the material, the neurotransmitters that involve in impact of the drugs in your body. Sure, like for example, sometimes block removal of neurotransmitters, some enhanced release of neurotransmitter. Everything is addiction is also related to the neurotransmission in the synaptic space, synaptic gap between two neurons. And block release of neurotransmitter, block receptor of neurotransmitter, and enhance by mimicking neurotransmitters. And stimulus drugs that have an arousal effect on the central nervous system, causing a rise in heart rate, blood pressure, and muscular tension, like caffeine, nicotine, amphetamine or speed, and methamphetamine, and cocaine, and crack cocaine. Also, in some countries, like my country, when you call it cocaine, crack, it is not about crack cocaine, it is crack heroin. So here in America, it is crack cocaine. It is not important that it's crack cocaine or crack heroin. Also, these are in different categorization of substance. But crack is usually crack cocaine. Depressant drugs that slow down the nervous system by causing neurons to fire more slowly. The most important, the first rank of depressant is alcohol and barbiturates and rohypnol, the date rape drug. It is called the date rape drug and rohypnol. And stimulants, we talk about it. Certain signs of alcohol abuse. Always getting high to have a good time, being high more often than not, getting high to get oneself going, going to work while high, missing or being unprepared for work because you were high, feeling bad late about something you said or did while high, driving a car while high, coming in conflict with law because of drugs, doing something while high that you wouldn't do otherwise, being high in non-social solitary situation, being unable to stop getting high, feeling a need for drink or drug to get through the day, becoming physically unhealthy, failing on the job, sorry, thinking about liquor or drugs all the time, and avoiding family or friends while using liquor or drug. These are the certain signs of alcohol abuse. In a society like America, using alcohol is not legal, is not abuse. But if you want, if you can find these signs in yourself or in your friends, in your family members, it is not called alcohol use for a fun, for your dinner, for your lunch, for your daily usage. It is alcohol abuse. It is not honestly um, binge drinking. It is not alcoholism. It is alcohol abuse. You are entering to the area of danger with using alcohol. Also, narcotics, drugs that increase relaxation and relieve pain and anxiety. The most important narcotic is morphine, heroin, opioids like Bisodin. And hallucinogens, the last categorization of the drugs for substance abuse or drug abuse, drugs that are capable of producing hallucinations, changes in the perceptual process, especially visual hallucination or auditory hallucination, very rarely in your tactile system, in touching under, for example, it is called formication. It is about that you have a sense of something under your skin, and you have some attack about, for example, that subject under your skin. But it is rare. It is not so rare, current in the hallucination, but especially visual hallucination and auditory hallucinations are frequent, are very current in using hallucinogens. Marijuana is a hallucinogen. MDMA or ecstasy are a very strong, very dangerous, and also LSD or acid is a very dangerous hallucinogens. So if you are using legally marijuana, you should know marijuana is a very weak version of hallucinations. And the other versions are MDMA or LSD. These are at the same family, same categorization of substances, hallucinogens. So precautious, be precautious, take care of using marijuana, especially when it is becoming your daily usage. And if you think that, yes, I cannot do my daily functions without starting my day with marijuana or ending my night with marijuana, it is some parts of my lifestyle. It is a sign of your addiction and your dependency to marijuana, especially in the states of America like California, that marijuana is not illegal, it is legal. You can use it also by having some legal documents, your ID and your age. I know it. There's good legal restrictions are good, but it's your choice to use it or not to use it. And you see here, 8th grade, 10th grade, 12th grade, and the percent of, for example, near under 10% of 8th grades use hallucinogens in America, especially between 1990 to 2016. And more than 25% of 12th grade and 10th grade of near middle school, ending middle school as entering high school, and also 12th grade is there, and near entering colleges, near 30%. Also the statistic of research. Many people don't answer anything to the researchers show. So it is very important to know the real numbers, the real scores, the real percentage, maybe more than this. The study authors of this chapter, it is important to differentiate the 5 stages of sleep: stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and non-REM sleep, which produce different brainwave patterns. It's very important. Use figure 6 to learn the differences between the 3 main explanations of dreams. The question of whether hypnosis represents a different state of consciousness or is similar to normal waking consciousness is a key issue. It's very important to know about the hypnosis. And remember that although there are several alternate techniques used in meditation, they are all designed to bring about an altered state of consciousness in which attention is refocused. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this video can help you to consider the major parts of your chapter. And in addition of studying the chapter, studying the course, you can find some major hints to pay attention to your daily life, especially about the drugs, about the substance abuse, and about the other legally accepted but not always socially accepted problems in the society of America. Have a good time.